What's up, guys? Running it back with another replay for you, and it's going to be a Wood Elves versus Tzeentch showdown on Itza for a spot in the grand finals of the intermediate experience level tournament. So it's going to be a good one. I am very excited to show this one off. I've played LVO and Hoot; they're both really good players. So for the Wood Elf forces, you've got the Prey of Nothrama, Glade Lord, you know, Soporific Breath on the dragon. You know, those breath attacks are pretty nasty, pretty good. Air of Kurnos, I guess just to pressure stuff. I don't really know what it does in this matchup. Guess we'll find out. But 2 Zangors up top, 1 in the middle, 2 off to the number 3 objective, and the Sour Guts and 1 Chaos Warrior. Interesting choice. And then there's also Exalted Hero and a Chaos Lord, both on the discs, and both going to be really good answers to the Glade Lord here. Glade Lord's pretty good combatant, but does not measure up nearly as well to the 2 of these guys, and they might be able to harry her into an early grave. Wood Elf Forces is going to also just have a horde of Swift Shiver Shards. These got buffed in the most recent patch and are pretty gnarly. They're really nasty. Units can absolutely trash stuff with some good focus fire. They will rip the Sour Guts to pieces if those guys don't hang back, which, you know, Mahout doing a pretty good job of doing right now. Big landing here from the Glade Lord on top of the Zangors, doing some good damage, poking in, but the Chaos Lord and Exalted Hero are going to respond and just drop right down on top of this very expensive Lord, man. You got to be careful with her. She's very powerful, but as I said, these guys are a pretty clear, definitive answer with those really big bonus versus large amounts. Definitely going to be able to keep her on the back foot if they can just stay on top of her. You've got 2, so you only need 1. A really good Prey of Nothrama coming down here to lock this guy in place, but nothing to follow it up. No Way Watchers or anything. He would do a lot of damage to this guy with him sitting here like this. A fat burning head coming in here, roasting one from full to nothing. And, you know, another one of these Deepwood's taking some good damage, and it's just an absolute chaotic mess. 1 Swift Shiver Shard broken. Another one, well, 2 are able to get out here. All 3 actually able to escape, but not able to get all its fire in. They do kill the Furies there, which is really nice, but there is a Zangor unit that's pretty healthy here. Pushed pretty far back into the back line, and those Silver Shields are going to stop a lot of fire coming in there. Another Zangor, very overextended though, getting punished really hard. And it's looking pretty nice for the Wood Elves in the back line again. But the front line's looking a little rough. You know, the Zangors are fighting in here pretty well, and the Eternal Guard, they are holding. But, you know, struggling to really finish off these Zangor units. Zangors do fight back pretty well against the Eternal Guard. It's pretty even there for the 2 units, but Chaos Warriors are definitely going to manhandle Eternal Guard. They do take damage in return, but it is a pretty decisive win at the end of the day for those big armored warrior types. Looks like some more dissipation back here from some enemy forces, crushing off Zangors and the like. And Glade Riders just pouring out. Maybe going to be able to trap up the Chaos Lord back here, who's really deep in. Another beautiful burning head coming in there, doing damage to the Glade Riders. Not getting a ton of work done on the Deepwood Scouts, but Furies are following up here and going to start tearing into these Deepwood Scouts. These guys have really poor combat stats, so this is actually a pretty good decision here. Just doing damage, even though they are taking a little return fire here from this unit. They are going to put a bit of a beating in on this very expensive missile unit. These guys have not gotten a ton of value so far. Just not having a lot of great targets. Good Prey of Nothrama back here. Oh, and the Wild Hunters of Kurnos on the field, man. These guys are going to be a great response unit to this very expensive Chaos Lord. He has popped Change or Die. You can see from the top of the mountain here, man. One Deep Witch Scout has been broken. The other two in a bad position, running around, and it looks like the cultist is on horseback. I haven't seen that in a hot minute, actually, but here he is, riding around on horse. Dropped a pink horse summon already, apparently. Burning Heads have been pretty good so far. Yeah, 1,200 value. Oh my gosh, that's pretty decent for him. But this Chaos Lord, if he gets killed here by the Wild Hunters of Kurnus, it's going to be game blouses, probably. You know, Tzeentch isn't doing too badly, but they are a little thin in the front line, and if their leadership gets tanked, I don't know if they're going to be able to hold the objectives. With Wood Elves having just really good mobility, they should be able to just sweep through and start taking objectives again. It is a triple cap, though, so they do have to recap all of the objectives in response. But the Gambit is certainly looking like it could pay off, but the Chaos Lord does get away, and I think that's going to be what is going to keep Tzeentch in this game. That was a big, big play for them. Being able to get back up in the sky there, I think they'll be able to survive. And now the Glade Lord is actually getting chased down pretty hard by the Exalted Hero here, and the Cult is doing a little bit of damage as well. Sourguts in combat with the Glade Guard. They haven't really had too much to do. They've gotten some good firepower and gotten a little bit of value just shooting at Eternal Guard, I would be willing to bet. Maybe a couple of volleys at some Glade Riders and the like, but, you know, they're going to take some damage here, but they are going to give it in return with their little ability of Sour Discharge just exploding on top of people, and, you know, all AP damage on that. You know, they can actually get their value just from dying against a really expensive unit, which is kind of funny. Amazing Burning Head there. Oh my god. Hoot has been so on point with those. Absolutely roasting these Eternal Guard and Deepwood Scouts. And the Burning Head almost coming back and hitting these guys on the bounce against the wall. It's kind of funny, but not going to happen that time. But regardless, these Eternal Guard and Deepwood Scouts, they're really worse for wear. They didn't lose any models on these guys, but regardless of that, they have just taken an absolute beating and a drubbing from that spell cast there. Glade Riders, gotten really good value, honestly. Maybe a little too deep on the missile line for the forces of the Wood Elves here. They are keeping it really close, and they do have healing, so it's certainly not out of reach. It's just a matter of tickets at this point. For the forces of the Wood Elves, they do not have any of the objectives. These Dryads could move over here. They are capping, actually. They just don't have that many of them. Wild Hunters of Kurnus can jump on this and just take it for free. You just need to do that. You need to just slow down the triple cap here. You've got time. You do have, honestly, the superior position. I think that the Wood Elves can very much win this battle if they just take this objective, slow down the cap, and just work on killing off these... I mean, these aren't the tankiest units in the world, but another Burning Head coming in here and just taking this Deepwood Scout down to half. We'll see if there's a follow-up from the forces of Tzeentch here. They don't have too much, and no models drop, so full firepower on these Deepwood Scouts. The Glade Lord, man, is just not able to get the impactful damage on the ground that you really need here. Wild Hunters of Kurnus taking some pretty gnarly damage from that Synagore of Tzeentch charge. You know, they probably trade pretty evenly into one another, despite this being a much less expensive unit in the Centaurs. And they're burying these guys. Wild Hunters of Kurnus, lots of models stuck back here, not quite able to escape. And they're taking huge damage. Firebark Elders coming in, interesting choice. That would have been a fun build to see, would be a Tree Man focused one for the Wood Elves. I think the Tree Men are actually a little underrated. You know, I've seen tons of Swift Shiver Shard spam so far. But as you can see, there's certainly counterplay to that. The Fire Magic has been absolutely vital to keeping Tzeentch in this game. 2,300 on that caster. That's what you love to see. Getting rid of this half-health Swift Shiver Shard unit is would be really nice here. But do think it's going to just be too little too late. The Tzeentch forces not capping this earlier. I mean, you can see how long it has taken for these two tattered units to take this objective. Finally flipping it. They are taking the middle here, but he's only got 20 or 15 seconds to make a difference here. I just don't think that's long enough. And Tzeentch is just going to hold on this final objective here and win it that way. It was a really well-played game by the Wood Elves, but too little too late to cap those objectives there at the end. Plenty left in the tank for both forces here. I think if the Wild Hunters of Kurnus had just gone and capped this top objective, he would have had plenty of time to bunker bust in the middle there, and then he would have, had a little bit more time to work on this final objective. It wouldn't have been easy, and Hoot certainly has plenty of forces to keep going on this back objective. Really, really well played by both of our players here. Fire Magic, definitely MVP there for the forces of Tzeentch. Sour Guts did pretty good as well, getting good value, and the Chaos Lord of Tzeentch and the Exalted Hero just chasing that Glade Lord around, not letting her get terror routes on the Zangors and Chaos Warriors and the like is pretty huge. That can be a big imposition for your Wood Elf forces. They can get tossed around fighting like that. Or sorry, your non-immunopsychology units can certainly get tossed around by the Wood Elf Lord if you don't protect them. The Glade Lord is very good at imposing its will in the front line if given the opportunity. Not too crazy value on the Furies, but they did good work at killing the early firepower from the Wood Elves. Decent value on a lot of these guys. Certainly not the worst, but I do believe a couple of them came in twice. And one of them, as you saw in that early going, got shattered immediately in the early melee. Wild Hunters of Kurnus did pay for themselves, almost. They had plenty of gas left in the tank at the end there. A couple of heals, I think, and they would have gotten some decent value sweeping through the back lines. And the Glade Riders did pretty good too. Maybe just bringing like one or two of these guys and then committing to a little bit more of mobility would have been a good idea. Zangors are pretty decent in combat against, cavalry and the like, if they do stay in sustained combat, but Glade Riders are very good on the charge. Can certainly put a lot of pressure on a unit that does have some armor, but really isn't the tankiest thing in the world. So, worth thinking about, but well played. I'll see you guys later. GG's. Peace.